And you are watching another edition of Blewett's Blitz. Today, as you can see by clicking on this video, we are recording for Soloman Thomas, Jets D tackle, signed to a relatively cheap contract for the Jets, a guy who is obviously familiar with Robert Saleh and his defensive scheme as he played under him with the 49ers for a few years, went to the Raiders last year. And now is with the Jets. To me, he's a primary he's a D tackle. I think he could play D end on some base downs as a run stuffer. But I think it's about 40 plays, 41 plays. Again, today is July 29th. I'm actually recording this today. I think Whitehead tomorrow, Martin on Sunday, and then the next day I'm recording Herbig. But I always preface that the show with date, because now we have Quan Alexander on the team. A lot of the shows we're gonna be watching past, I have like 5-6 reviews I haven't released yet. All of them I'm not gonna refer to Quan Alexander. So we did sign Quan Alexander. By the time you're watching this, I would assume, I'm going to almost guarantee they're gonna sign a backup offensive tackle. So I would assume that's happening, and I'll be doing a film review on that too. But the Quan Alexander review, already started watching one game, going to watch 13 total of this year and last year. And then you'll get that review. But Soloman Thomas, let's get into the film. And then after that, I will read off his strengths and weaknesses. Again, I think it's 41 plays. I actually loaded a couple in the beginning. But nonetheless, let's get into the first play, force hold. And we're going to see him play both D tackle, D end in this review, which again, I think he is JFM light. Obviously he's not JFM. He didn't get nearly the same contract, but I think he's a guy just in terms of, he could play on the inside and on the outside. And I think he's a better pass rusher on the inside than he's on the outside, but I also think he's a better run defender on the outside versus on the inside, kind of just like JFM. So he might be a JFM substitute. But first play, force hold. He's gonna be right here at 3 tech. Again, this is 2019 now, because 2020 he was injured for the entire year, if not almost the entire year. I think it was the entire year. And then 2021 he obviously signed with the Raiders. So he actually got injured 2020 against the Jets, right? So maybe it was like week 2. I could be wrong, but here he is, 3 tech. Let's watch. Tend to get record happy to start, but this isn't one of those plays. I looked a few plays forward and I realized that might have got record happy, so I try to get rid of some of those plays. But here, offensive lineman, they all zone step to their right. Soloman Thomas comes off the ball. He might be just trying to penetrate the B gap, and he kind of angles it towards the guard because the guard is zone stepping, so he tries to just take on one man. Again, you could spike a double team, but you can also just take on that one guy. So 71 is not going to get – he's going to have to kind of reach for contact here, and you're not going to be right in his face. So you want to – right now he's like denting that post, or actually really he's denting the high leg. But nonetheless, steps with the zone steps. What does he do? Good job, one, playing with leverage. Good job attacking the hip. He wants to keep himself clear. The offensive lineman's using a ricochet technique. So he's getting off his instep really quickly of that play side foot, working back to try to pop up that play side shoulder of Thomas, so 71 can scoop him out. But Thomas does a good job, again, attacking that center of gravity. That's how you're going to move guys. So he attacks the center of gravity, nice tight elbow angle. He's going to work into that hip, turn that body away from 71, which is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what you want to do. Again, you don't want to give him that big surface area of your chest to hit. So you turn that body. Now he's hitting your shoulder, he's hitting your back. And even if he does get your chest, it's just not as powerful as an angle because it's not directly under the elbow. So good job there. Now, obviously, he's zone stepping away from you. He's trying to scoop you out. What are they probably doing? They're probably running zone away from you. Thomas recognizes that, sheds the guard, even though he kind of just assist him in working to the second level like he was going to anyway, which, by the way, Quan. So we might see Quan pop up in here a few times. We can kind of see what he does. I even think about that. But nonetheless, going to work down the line of scrimmage now. 71, he has a hard time getting his hips under the block just in terms of being in front here instead of just kind of fighting him with his hands as he scrapes across the top of it. Thomas does a good job just with power, trying to scrape down the line of scrimmage, forces the hold. Mixon, breaks free for however long, but there's a hold there on Thomas because he does a good job. Again, just attacking that the post guy, turning his body, playing with good leverage, playing with a tight elbow angle. It's all good, and recognizing, okay, they're probably running away from me and try to scrape over the top, So rush win, he's right here. Again, I like the versatility that he provides the Jets, and they're. It's interesting because their best run stuffers at the end are probably JFM, JJ, and now Thomas. But at the same time, who are your best run stuffing D tackles? Like, is Thomas if you have to go for, is it Thomas, JFM, Lawson, and Q as the four guys? I think it might be Thomas on the inside, which isn't great. To be honest, we want like a true. He's not Foley Fatukasi. He's hit or miss in the run game, but still, nonetheless, rush win from the edge right here, in this 4-point stance. So a little bit of play on angles here. One hard step inside. He's hoping that just freezes the tackle's feet. Maybe even he gets lucky and gets a weight shift inside, which is even better than just a pure freeze. So he gets a little bit of a freeze. He sits inside. It's not drastic where you see a overly large weight shift or anything like that. Might hold him inside just a tad. One step up the field. Starts to work up the arc now. And he got the tackle sit inside just a tiny bit and not really get into ideal position. This isn't ideal. He'd rather probably have a little bit more depth here and be splitting. So again, let's say that first step affected him enough to hold him inside just a tad. Thomas gets into that contact window, throws a double swipe. Doesn't look like it lands. Oh, the left hand lands. The left hand lands right here. The right hand doesn't land as cleanly as he wants to, but it does enough where their forearms kind of rub up against each other, and the tackle's outside hand is not able to land cleanly. Double swipe, step through, corner. Now, okay, the ball is out in literally 2 seconds. So people are like, oh, well, he didn't get there. He got there as quickly as he could for the most part. He won the rep. It's just the ball was out in 3-step boom throw. So we're not going to kill him. And that could be a reason, obviously, why the tackle sat inside too, because the only real effective angle is going to be the inside rush there. So the tackle had some flexibility to sit inside. So, well, we could bring that up as well. And I obviously did. So you want to have all the context. Every situation is different. So if the tackle's going to sit inside, heavy on a 3-step drop, okay, it might be a little bit different. We're talking about 7-step drops and things like that. So Thomas set edge, right here, left side of your screen. This might be a record happy play, but nonetheless, comes off the ball, aggressive step up the field, which we're going to see a lot in Robert Saleh's system. And it's beneficial. Obviously, do we want a DJ Jones? Yeah, sure. But with guys like Thomas, it's beneficial that he's played in the system before, because he is able to not necessarily play better than the guys they have, but he's used to the system enough where he's used to taking aggressive steps upfield and then reading the run after that. Their first goal is going to be the pass rusher in the system. You're going to take a lot of aggressive steps up the field, and hopefully you're used enough to the system and used enough to offensive line blocking schemes where you could recognize, whether it be counter, power, draw, whatever, trap, where you could kind of then adjust your angle and to make an impact on that run play. So set edge, let's watch. I think I already did this. Oh yeah, we already watched that. So comes off the ball. Again, aggressive step up the field, good leverage into contact. What do we have? Again, good leverage, tight elbow angle, aggressive hands, land on the offensive lineman first. Again, the leverage battle here, he's 1,000% winning that. What are we also seeing? A guy who's able to, at least on this play, roll his hips up. It's really, really, really powerful. Roll them up, and again, that kind of gets that lift a little bit. Pop them up. Now Mixon is forced to cut it back or to bend the run back, but just in terms of him setting the edge, you're not going to get a much better edge set than this. So obviously, driving the tackle back and into the backfield, there's no way that Mixon's going to be able to cut to the outside here. And if he does, you'd hope that Thomas can make that tackle, but that's hell of an edge set right there. Again, just because Mixon cuts away from it doesn't mean it's not a good play. So I like that. So, oh, hold on. I just did something weird. Okay. Okay. Thomas plan right here on the edge. Sometimes he is. Oh, sorry. I apologize. Left side of the screen. He's right here. Questioning his plan a little bit here. You gotta play angles a little bit better here, and you want to not dictate, but you have to try to do something with angles just to soften the edge, whether that be hard outside inside, hard inside outside, inside outside inside, whatever it is. There you have to play angles where you're not really, unless you're just a true speed rusher, going to be able to just rush right up the arc, defeat the hand, bend. But he's not that type of rusher, so he's gonna have to win with power, technique, angles, things like that. Obviously the more important things than just having pure speed. But he's not going to be able to, again, just outrace guys up the arc. So we're seeing him on just a track that's straight up the field. Obviously turns his hips a little bit into the offensive lineman, but never again plays any type of angle. So straight up the field with some hesitation, tries to throw a hand to defeat the outside hand of the tackle. He throws it late. It lands, but not as cleanly necessarily as he wants to. The tackle's arm is able to stay relatively attached. Inside hand then gets onto into the rib, into that center of gravity area, and he's able to lock him up. Now I like the fact that he tries to spin as he realizes he's rushing up the arc and he's not going to be able to bend that arc and get to the quarterback because he's going past his set point. Spin back inside, which he does. You have the offensive lineman who handles it relatively well, but if the ball was held here, maybe he gets quarterback hit. But again, we want to play better angles. And with this being said, okay, an outside angle, maybe if he didn't expect the running back to go, to release outside, he's expecting a chip, so he keeps it a little bit more inside. Also possible, but at the end of the day, he was not able to defeat the hand. The angles are questioned. We do like the spin after the fact. Again, just noticing the set point. So Thomas, good and bad. He's on the right side of your screen right here. Again, you call him a 7, call him a ghost 5. I don't care. Ghost 7, a wide 5, loose 5. As long as you're consistent with what you call your techniques. So he's right here. Let's watch. We'd like to see the little bit of that acceleration here. So I like the angles here. So now we're seeing more of an angle play. 1, 2 up the field. 1, you see how the second step widens to explode off that instep to threaten the tackle. Hopefully, again, getting that tackle to either freeze his feet or shift his weight inside. Explodes towards the tackle. Again, large step, maybe a little bit too large of a step right here. And the thing if you're going to take a step that big, and this is the bad part of it, you really need to have those hands prepared to shoot. Shoots the hands just a little bit late. Again, when you're closing that ground, you have to anticipate that the hands are going to come. They come. His hands aren't as ready as they necessarily should be. Tries to throw the double swipe. The problem is with that double swipe, again, you want that to land before the hands land on you, because then obviously it's not going to be as clean. Hands land on him. Tries to throw the double swipe. Tackle gets extension. Wards him off. Doesn't win that rush rep, even though I do like the angles. Again, just the hands need to be a little bit more ready. And then we like the effort as he sees him break the tackle. Again, he looks back, he assumes that he's going to be wrapped up right here, right? 41 and 51 have to do a little bit better of a job here, tackling and wrapping up and things like that. But good job by Thomas showing that acceleration, showing that effort, chasing him down. We like that. So Thomas, explosive. Let's see. He is right here on the inside. 1 tech, loose 1. You'll call him a loose 1. He's like a true 1 is like right on the outside shoulder. This is a little bit loose. People obviously, if he was more inside to the shoulder, he'd be a 2i, but we'll call him a loose 1 here. So obviously, there's a lot of eye candy here. We have a trap into we have a fake trap run into an end around. Again, good creativity. Thomas, now a lot of these systems, and it is hard to tell at times, just because you don't have the playbook. But with a lot of these 4-3 schemes, you have a lot of guys who have flexibility in terms of, okay, you can play the B gap, you can play the A gap. The linebackers behind you have to make up that ground. So if he's going to attack the B gap, okay, linebacker has to fill the A. We're going to call, or he can attack the A and the linebacker can fill the B. I'm just being really simple. Call that an exchange. So you have some flexibility again to shoot gaps. It's the linebackers have to make that up. So you're not like two gapping like we used to see a lot with the Jets. So comes up the field, steps up the field. Now his eyes are on inside on the ball. Now, was he planning on shooting the A gap and right off the jump, or sorry, the opposite A gap right off the jump? Again, can't guarantee it. I don't like when people say, "Oh yeah, he definitely was going to do that," unless they have real, knowledge of the playbook. They have the playbook, whatever it may be. Again, you could assume certain things, and we think we know certain things. But I always like to give a little bit of prefacing. But was it that, or was it that he noticed the center start to lean his way, and he wants to just defeat that block? And again, the system allows you that aggressiveness. So it's one of those systems where one play you might get a tackle for a 3-yard tackle for loss. And the next play you might let up 7 yards because you were overly aggressive. Like it's a hit or miss system at times, and again it depends a lot on the linebackers too. And the system, like people, linebackers aren't important. 4-3 linebackers are really important, just in general. Again, making up that ground, and it really in any system, I think linebacker might be a little bit underrated by fans. And then in coverage too, like these guys are asked to cover a lot of ground and things like that in the system. So nonetheless, center steps towards him. He crosses his face. Again, good job. One, you can see the explosion. Watch him load up off that instep of the outside foot right there. Explode laterally. I'm assuming the near hand right here to the center is just a tight, like chicken wing rip type deal. Just to defeat that. Thinks it's a trap run. Pushes up the field. Now again, it's obviously it ends up being an end around, but just in terms of his explosion, that's what we're looking at here. Now, with that being said, he's not a D tackle who's 300 pounds. He's a D tackle who I'll get to his list later, but I think he's like 6'3", 270. So he's not 300 pounds. So you want him to show that explosion on the inside, which he does, which is good. So Thomas, athlete or athleticism, he is right here. This is more of a 2-eye than a loose one because he is on that inside shoulder. So we're calling him a 2-eye here. Again, similar type of deal here, where he most likely has that flexibility. He might not though, just because, and they might be trying to run a blitz here because you have 3 guys trying to pull the offensive lineman away from potentially that corner blitzing off the edge like a cat, but it ends up being a run play. So nonetheless, he takes that lateral step. Again, after that lateral step, what is he noticing? If he's looking at the backfield, running back's track going opposite, quarterback turned away from you, zone stepping, where is the run going? Obviously, unless it's misdirection, it's going to Thomas's left. So steps that way. Does a good job just defeating that. Well, he actually doesn't necessarily do the best job of defeating like that check hand from that guard. He gets caught by a little bit, which okay, fine. Now, after he gets caught by a little bit, throws a rip again just to protect his contact frame or his contact area. And if the offensive line were to land any hands, that rip just lifts up that elbow, makes it a less strong point of contact. Drive across his face. A little bit of there's some traffic here, so he doesn't think he's going to be able to push through all that to get to the running back. Throws a spin, works through some traffic. Looks like he tries to throw another rip, but he works past 77, chases down the running back and gets in on the tackle. And again, this is just athleticism, so we're not talking about anything crazy in terms of scheming or anything like that. But again, for an inside guy, he does show some athleticism. I wouldn't say he's definitely not the most loose athlete. That is for sure. He's more of an explosive athlete than a bendy, twitchy athlete. Not necessarily twitchy. Kind of goes with the explosion, but he's definitely not bendy and flexible. That's for sure. So, for his size, it's solid. But here we go. So he's a 2-eye right here. Let's see. And now we have a situation where he's not necessarily as strong as some guys, like stacking and things like that on the interior, but for his size, he is, again, explosive. And he has a lot of like power through contact. Like he's really able to hold his line, hold his arc, all that. So here, when the Rams, obviously the center blocks back, The guard pulls to the play side. Now, Solomon Thomas, again, in the scheme, is this design, or is this just him penetrating the vacated gap? Because obviously with him pulling, this is going to be weak. So if guys are explosive enough, they're going to explode through that gap, defeat the block back down, and work to the running back. So works to the vacated gap. Now, again, because he's explosive and he angles away from the center's not able to cover the gap with his feet. So now Thomas is just working past the hands. Again, because the hips and the feet aren't under that block. So works past it. Again, throws a rip. We're going to see a rip again, because if that inside, or if that outside hand for the offensive lineman is tight to the chest, the tight elbow angle is going to be really hard. But when you throw that rip, you start to lift that arm up, which obviously it's not going to be you're much stronger like this than you are like this. So good job lifting that hand. Cornering, you're going to see him corner a little bit right there, work to the quarterback, get the hit. Or sorry, get the sack, not the hit. Smacks him. We like to see that. Thomas stuff. Oh, all right. He's right here. Call him with 2-eye. Again, just showing some power inside. Steps up the field aggressively. We obviously have 64, the guard, who tries to, he's going to attempt to, just because he's so wide, he's going to attempt to pop up that play side shoulder, allow 77 to scoop him out. So they're comboing him. He steps again aggressively up the field, club, arm over. I like when guys show just hand usage in tight spaces. Here he's trying to work through now the B gap, and we're seeing him just try to hold off the guard and clear off that gap, clear up that gap with a hand on the shoulder right there. Presses through that gap again. 77 is never able to completely get his hips under that block, because Thomas angles himself and tries to, again, kind of penetrate that B gap laterally to get back on the play, because he notices his own steps, works through it, shows some power, looks like there's rip in there, gets his arms free, and gets the tackle of Henderson. So again, good play, good stuff. So we're going to have sometimes he's going to make the stuff or the run stuff. Sometimes he's not. It's just I think the Jets defense, and I said that, oops, I don't know why I brought this play again. But in general, I think they're going to be one of those defenses where it's, okay, one play it's a tackle for loss, and the next play it's 10 yards. Like, what are we getting on each play? We're hoping that with guys, they add the addition of Quan on the weak side, which is going to be interesting too. We're going to talk about Quan. How does he fit? Is he going to come in on coverage downs? Is he going to be the weak side? He's going to be the weak side in 4-3, but nonetheless, Thomas stuff 2-eye right here. I already did that, so let's go to the next play, dumbass. Thomas QB hit. He's right here. Again, another 2-eye. So, kind of a similar deal as, not a similar deal necessarily as last time. And again, he could study film. There could be a lot of stuff where, like, and I think I'm going to bring it up a lot, maybe in this review later, but like you could tell when guys, with their feet, what step are they leaning heavy on? That might indicate where he's going to go. And right here again, and I'm not saying he's doing this, but this is a situation where is he going? Is 66 based on his stance right here going to explode to the outside? It wouldn't make a lot of sense with this foot up, but with this foot back, working off the instep, you'd assume in this stance he's going to work to the inside. So does Thomas read that? I don't know. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say yes, he does. Or let's just say, okay, he was planning on working through the B gap. He's with an exchange with Quan right there, but works into the B gap. Again, throws the rip. It doesn't necessarily land cleanly on the elbow. You want it to work against that elbow as best as you can. When it gets more to the bicep, you're not really, again, lifting that pivot point. So throws the rip. Again, doesn't land as cleanly as he wants to. He tries to throw a club, but because that, again, he doesn't defeat that elbow, it's at a tight angle, so he's not able. The club doesn't really do much. So now we have a situation where, okay, he's clearly not going to win the arc right here. He doesn't have that bend, and he's going to get pushed enough up it where he's going to work way past the set point. So what does he do? throws the hump move again, puts on the brakes. Now that hand that initially was trying to throw that rip, we're going to see it get removed from the outside. Club doesn't land, works now. Now it works to the inside. Again, put on those brakes, throw him by you. Club, arm over. Again, get low, work off the instep, use that core strength to throw him by you, flatten, get to the quarterback. He gets the hit, obviously, but it is completed. But I like the secondary win there when his initial plan did not work. So Thomas' strength effort right here, again, 2I. We're going to see him there pretty frequently, obviously. So especially with San Francisco. So let's watch what he does. So the secondary piece of this is effort, which we're going to like to see, and the Jets staff are the kings of mentioning strain, which he shows, which is obviously positive. So we don't want any Muhammad Wilkerson situations. So 2I effort, and we already watched it, but coming off the ball now. This is a false start to me, but nonetheless, it's not caught. So Thomas notices the movement towards him, low off the snap. We like how low he's off the snap. We like his leverage. There are times where he plays high, but initially off the ball, he shows some low explosion at times. So notices that pressure, and I'm assuming here, which I probably should have labeled, just based on how aggressive he is up the field and working into Sheriff. This is probably a short yardage situation, but nonetheless works into him. Again, good leverage, hands inside. Now they're trying to combo him. Again, he does a good job because you have Sheriff who's taking that near step to, again, combo to the second level. I form inspired me some type of like a tight lead zone. Yeah, like a tight lead zone. So works into Sheriff, comboed, they create absolutely no movement on Soloman Thomas, the running back, which I believe is Adrian Peterson right here. I could be wrong. You have sorry. Okay, so takes him on 73. Is initially is probably going to try to take over that block, but because he's working the 75 so hard, he's not able to really 73 is not able to get into that block because he's working into 75. So 75 is forced to stay with him, which again, if ideally they would want scoop, him climb, and just him making the postman here, high post, just making the high leg take you on sometimes can allow the linebacker to scrape over the top and force the running back to either cut back or the linebacker's going to fill that gap and make a tackle. So just that could be enough on some plays. So nonetheless, the center comes off that block. We have Thomas who sees the running back start to bend his run back a little bit, frees himself up, or at least tries to free up his inside half. Might be a little bit of a hold there, but Peterson's able to cut away from him. Again, still a pretty good play by Soloman Thomas. And then we're again secondary piece where he's showing effort on chasing him down right there. There are plenty of guys who are not necessarily going to do that, so we have to make notes of effort, especially when again the staff is, and again, a lot of the guys they got, like it's a lot of locker room guys, a lot of effort guys like that. I think the Jets rather have a B+ player who is a good locker room guy and effort player than an A- player who's going to be the diva only to me type of guy. So they're really about the camaraderie and effort and things like that. So it's really apparent they like these type of players. So 2I right here. Again, pretty similar. Obviously now there's motion, so everybody's gonna have to shift gaps over. How do they go about that necessarily in San Fran? Now again, is this a situation where he has the flexibility to play either gap, just in terms of penetrating and it's an exchange between him and the linebacker? Not sure, but again, laterally explosive towards that B gap. They're going to run. Oh, they do. I thought it was going to be a play action for a second, but run a duo here. And they're trying to combo. Thomas, if anything, they're probably expecting him to step to this place. Actually, let me see what the center does. I don't know if the center sees him working away from him, so he works right next to this, or just by their design, it's supposed to be comboed here. But the tackle steps inside to combo. Again, Thomas lateral explosion there, pretty low. Throws he doesn't throw a rip. He steps to the B gap, noticing, okay, well, he's not working fully into me. This tackle's about to work into me, so let me get my hands on him. Gets his hands on. Again, not the best position to be in, but now we're going to see some natural strength take over as he's able to straighten out and kind of refit his hands. Feels the lean from the offensive lineman into him, so he's going to, again, take him to where he's going. If he's leaning into you, don't try to lift him up and push him back. If he's leaning, throw a club, get lateral, and let his momentum take him forward and to the turf. So he feels that, gets and we can see him. We're going to see him drop this step. Why? To kind of olay him. Drop that step to olay him. Pulls himself through, arm over, clears that inside half. Obviously tries to square up the running back the best he can, and he's able to clear himself to make a tackle at the end right there. So it's a good job. Thomas Rushwin. Yeah, by the way, I thought I was going to have a nice, relaxing weekend. I was like, okay, well, listen, I got shows to do. I'm going to do a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but then rest of the day I'm chilling, doing some house stuff. They signed Quan, so now it's like, hey, to my wife, it's like, Saturday, Sunday, I got to watch some film now. I got to watch 13 games, get a review out by next week before the preseason game. So it is what it is, right? I'll take the Jets signing players who are going to make the team better and having to do a review. So Thomas Rushwin right here, loose one. Again, he's there in a jiffy, let's say. So steps towards the guard to square him up. Again, initially, what is his exact plan? Is it to penetrate the A, penetrate the B, whatever it may be? He's noticing as he steps that the guard is going to square him up, so it's a one-on-one pass rushing situation. Again, good job getting lateral here, and if you're being more cautious, you're trying to read what gap you're going to penetrate, which again he has in a lot of these 4-3 schemes. He kind of has that flexibility, so he gets more lateral instead of up the field. If he was a step up the field here, Sheriff probably is going to contact him and shut him down, but he gets lateral, which allows him to react a little bit more to Sheriff stepping down and trying to block him. So gets lateral, notices the hand shooting of Sheriff, gets his hands up, double swipe into a rip, and clears himself really, really quickly in that A gap, and presses towards the quarterback, gets the hit. Again, it's a really good play. He really can't win much quicker there. So, and that step, that inside step at lateral forces the guard Sheriff to shoot his hands. But with that step, he has to be prepared to defeat the hands, which he is. Double swipe. Again, looks like the elbows are relatively tight. Again, we like the awareness, working through space. This is where we talk about, okay, like guys, gap space awareness. There are some guys who at this point, and we see the guys even like Jonathan Marshall, who at this point might move too wide, get caught up into this guy. But then you see guys with good gap awareness who are going to get their hands on and are just aware of the spacing in that gap. So good job with the awareness there. Again, chase on the quarterback, get the big hit. And obviously, the quarterback feels the impact of that play. So Thomas run. Okay. He's right here, 2-eye. We're seeing him obviously pretty much almost not exclusively play 2-eye, but quite a bit. We have seen some reps at DN. So DN 2-eye typically. So see. Who's the quarterback? Oh, it's Allen. I was trying to see who that is. He went to the was it the Commanders, the then either football team or Redskins. I don't know. I forget exactly when they changed their team name, but we're seeing him get a little bit late off the snap here. So we've seen that once or twice in these plays that he's a little bit late off the snap, even though the one I think that Sheriff did jump off sides, or it was a false start. So, but a little bit, tiny bit late, comes off the ball. Maybe a little bit higher this time. His chest is a little bit more exposed, but he is able to land his hands before at least the 70 does. They're not necessarily the most ideal hand placement here, but as you can see, the hands line onto the shoulder there, probably the shoulder here. But again, shows strength to just stand up 70. We're seeing him peek into the backfield here. Looking at McCaffrey's track. Looking at McCaffrey's track, and he's again trying to play both sides. You know, there are guys who, okay, he'll be in, you know, he'll be running towards, let's say, the B gap here, angling like he is. He'll flash his helmet to the inside and make McCaffrey feel comfortable, cross the face, make the tackle. So you don't want to declare necessarily too often and try to uncover, because then the running back's going to react to that. So trying to play both gaps right here. Initially, you know, to the right, left. Okay, I think McCaffrey is going to cut to where he initially was moving. What does he do? Widen, drop the weight, try to use, you know, that core strength to throw the offensive lineman to his right, to the offensive lineman's left, cross the face, uncover. We like that he pulls himself through and tries to like drop his hips to work through. Looks like he tries to like chop that hand to work through that hand. And he would have been there. So yeah, it's, you know, the run aspect of this play is very solid because he would have been there. Now, you know, it's an RPO, so the ball is out, but just in terms of playing the run, the offensive lineman blocked like it's a run, and it would have been a good job. So yeah, no, he's not there, but overall still a play that I like. So Thomas effort. Okay, again, 2-eye relatively frequently, right? We're seeing them run these over sets with him as the weak side 2-eye. So let's see. Again, just another effort thing here. I gotta pause it after this, but another effort thing here. Comes off the ball, and notices that the offensive lineman is trying to cut him, and we're gonna see that pretty frequently on the play side of screens. Notices the cut, stuffs it. We like that he, again, kind of almost like a running back, makes that near leg. He lightens the load on that. Why? Because if he gets taken out, you know, his weight is away from it. So good job pulling his body away. Confirming, you can see his eyes get to the quarterback, confirming that the ball is being thrown on the swing to McCaffrey, chases it down, and at least gets it on the tackle. So we like the recognition. We like the stuff of the offensive lineman into the ground. We like the reducing of his body near to the cut block, and then the effort to chase it down. So those are all positives right there. All right, next play, bull rush. Okay. He is right here. Now we're seeing him play some 4-eye instead of 2-eye. So the thing about the bull rush is, one, he comes into the bull rush pretty high. We want to see him lower than he is. We're seeing him in terms of just the hands are a little bit more passive. They're getting almost more laid out there than really coming up and shocking. So we want to see just more powerful punch with the hands, a little bit more aggression. Hands work again wide. His elbows are tight, but his hands, because he's so high right here, instead of these hands landing into maybe the outside pec or even a little bit lower, they're landing to the shoulders because he's high. So even though the elbows are tight, again, you have to pair that with good leverage. So hands land a little bit high. Is that actually? I am not going to guarantee this, but just based on exactly how this guy plays this and his wide base, again, you planned it, whatever. I'm pretty sure this is GVR. I could be wrong though. I think that is GVR in 2019. Yeah, I am very, very sure, just based on how he moves, exactly this footwork. But with that being said, we want him to take on that open chest with better leverage and better hand placement. Because if he were to, I think he could drive GVR back. But again, just because of bad hand placement and bad leverage, now he's losing that leverage game. He's playing high. You're not going to be able to play high, especially when the offensive lineman has better leverage than you and have an effective bull rush, unless he's just a complete scrub and you're massively powerful and you shock him back. But in this position, your bull rush is never really going to win. He gets shut down on that play. So we want to see, again, more better hand placement, better leverage there on that bull rush. So Thomas plan. Okay. Oops. Okay. He's right here on the edge. Again, has some flexibility to play both. Again, so well, not again, but the plan here, not ideal. A little bit more of a step inside here. Again, maybe hoping that the just one he could be reading, and maybe two he's hoping that the offensive lineman steps are holding inside, but it's not really an aggressive enough step to say that was a plan. And if it was, it wasn't a good one because it doesn't really do much. Works up the arc. The thing with trying to get hands on here, okay, trying to splash him maybe, then went up the arc. But the thing I could tell you about just working into him like that, you see how his lower half is going up the arc, but his upper body is working into the offensive lineman. It's not a powerful position to be in. So again, you're not connecting your lower half with your upper half there, just in terms of angles. So works into a not a powerful position off of the instep. Again, not ideal. And from that gets locked down. The offensive lineman's able to get tight elbow angle, grab him, and he gets shut down. So what was the plan here? Don't necessarily know, but I can tell you that leaning into a bull rush like that from that position is not a strong spot to be in from Soloman Thomas. So what am I? Okay, I definitely just okay, plan. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you guys didn't see what just happened on my screen. I almost skipped like 10 plays there. Thomas Rushwin. Okay, on the edge right here, weak side. Again, go 7. Want to call him a 9. Want to call him a lose 5. I really don't care. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now let's see what the angles he's playing with. So now, again, now we're seeing a little bit better angle play. Last time he was kind of just inside or one step a little bit inside and then rush up the arc. Now we're seeing him one step inside, outside, and then back inside. You see how that step is more aggressive where, okay, now maybe that offensive lineman thinks, okay, same thing as last time. He's going to contact me. But off that instep of the inside foot, the third step, he's now going to drive vertically. So while it appears to the offensive lineman, okay, he's working towards me to drive into my chest, really that step is he's working off the instep to explode back up the arc, but he wants that step to force him to again sit inside a little bit. Pairs that with, okay, I'm going to step through, again, big steps, double swipe, get there. So we like the pairing of the hands and the feet, again, just overemphasizing that stride to corner. Again, you don't want to take little steps up the arc. Once you're going to feed the hands, you want to take that big step corner. Takes that big step corners. Again, it's about footwork too. It's not just about bend up the arc. You need that footwork to pair with it. Footwork. Now again, the ball is out, but for Thomas, it is a quality rush win on the edge right there. Thomas penetrate power. Okay, right here, 2-eye. Future Jet Dwayne Brown right there. Let's see. Again, does he have the flexibility to play either gap? But again, with 4-3s, typically the defensive linemen do have a lot more flexibility. So ball is snapped, which for San Fran, obviously it's a bend. I don't know if this is happening all game. I don't recall off the top of my head, but you're going to see this a lot with Herbig. But with offensive linemen, a lot of them are with offensive lines on the road. A lot of them are going to tap the center to tell him to snap the ball. So Thomas is going to have that timing down. You'd hope seeing that. Okay, the ball is going to be snapped. Now, coming off the ball, again, how quickly is his processing speed? Was he going to step towards him initially? We're not necessarily sure, but with the center blocking back and the guard, was he going to pull? The guard is pulling. So the run is probably going to go opposite of him. So the only way that he's going to make a true impact on this play is if he initially just turns right into the center and drives him back to close a gap, or he's going to push up field, bend, and try to get in on the running back really, really quickly. It's really the only two things you're going to do. You can't kind of play that in the middle. So let's say he notices the center blocking back towards him, steps away from it for obvious reasons. Again, kind of olaying him, steps through it, or steps up the field, rip. Does he throw the rip? he throws a rip. It doesn't necessarily land overly cleanly, but how do I explain that? With him working more outside, the rip is gonna be more effective when it's more of a direct angle. If he's more straight, because you're gonna be tight, like your arm's gonna be tighter. Where you're working to the outside, it's just not going to be as clean because you're not as tight because you're working away from his arm. So the arm is not going to be as tight to the elbow as you necessarily want. I guess it's a good way to explain it. So works that rip. Now, obviously, Russell Wilson with that play action has to get rid of the ball quickly, but Thomas is going to get the hit. Now we like the quick penetration up the field. We like the rip. We like the power there. Again, his power through his bend. There are times where guys are leaning on him, and he's really able to kind of hold his line, for lack of a better term, up the field. Which again, he's a 270-pound D tackle. It's not necessarily easy for guys who are even 300 pounds, but for a guy his size, it's even more impressive. Obviously, because due to that lack of size, or that true lack of size to the inside for him. So we have him right here, 2-eye. Seeing some quick penetration. Again, gets caught a little bit by the punch of 70. Again, with just the stance, we'd assume right here, right, that the guard is going to drive to the inside, unless he's not going to drive to the inside. He's either going to drive to the inside or he's pass setting to the opposite. So either run play, pass play, most likely. I just have that's how I would read that stance as a defensive lineman. So drives off the instep, most likely a run play, at least in my mind. And again, this is what's happening all really, really quickly for them. But we want to see him be a little bit more prepared with the hands. He gets caught a little bit. A really good offensive lineman right here is going to get those hands in, latch, and drive him. I'm assuming that I think is it Ifedi? I don't know who that is. Ayupati. I think it's Ayupati. I could be wrong, but not that he hasn't played the best. Ayupati. I can go into actually it's not Ayupati. That was the really long time guard or tackle or whatever for the Niners years and years ago, right? Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure. I'm losing it. Nonetheless, for Soloman, Thomas gets caught in the chest a little bit, but with that being said, again, we're seeing natural power for him. So even though he does get caught in the chest, he's able to stand up through that, throw the club, and work through that A gap. Again, throws that chicken wing. Again, it's not a true rip. What is that chicken wing doing right there? Again, the most beneficial area for the offensive lineman to contact him at this point right now is the chest. So cut off that angle. If he's coming from high, you cut off that angle. Okay, he hits you in the stomach. It's not going to be a powerful position because that arm's going to be really extended to it. Hits you high into the shoulder. It's not really going to do much. So protect that most vulnerable area, or not the most vulnerable, but the most conducive area for the offensive lineman to hold you up. So guards that with a chicken wing. And works into the backfield. So we like that play from him. Let's see. 23. Thomas hit. He is right here did I start this play a second late? Oh, not really. So he's a 2-tech. Again, are we seeing the linebackers are going to read and react? He's going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants, seemingly right here. Steps inside. Ends up not being in necessarily that ideal position, ideally, unless you're going to truly try to bull rush a guy. You want to be under him, but typically you're trying to penetrate, whether it be at either A gap, you want to be uncovered to, you want to be at least half your body uncovered, working against half the body of the offensive line. You don't necessarily want to square them up unless you're trying to bull rush. So he ends up trying to throw like a rip, which doesn't necessarily land cleanly. Again, catches him. Pretty tight gap right here, so he's not going to win here. He transitions that. Again, I think trying to penetrate the A gap with a rip, the center steps with it nicely, doesn't overcommit to the left side. Thomas is forced to adjust quickly. Again, does a good job working off the power of the instep. Throws the hump move. Not a hump. That's a club. Throws a club. Again, just trying to propel himself inside while throwing him to the outside. And you can see it's powerful. That's obviously a pretty effective punch right there. Now again, club. Now, he's not the most, he wasn't set up ideally with his feet just in terms of club. Okay, step through. He had a club get lateral to step through. So he clubs, gets lateral, club, 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 club. Listen, if you're not just always going to throw a rip, a club, and just work immediately through that gap. So you might have to throw two. You might have to throw two clubs right there. So that's what he does. Club, club. And again, does a good job of just being prepared with his hands to defeat that outside arm. Like the club is, he clubs, but maybe that guy, maybe the offensive lineman is able to get that hand in there. And I like that the fact that he is now like throwing that ice pick to get past him, just in case he does get the hand there. Okay, and you're going to propel yourself off of that shoulder, and just you extending off that shoulder is obviously going to pull that arm back. So I like the hands right there. Work past him. Again, now this is where I talk about like his awareness of himself in space. He's noticing, okay, 70 is there. What is he going to do? He's going to, just throw that hand on 70 to propel himself both to the quarterback and to keep 70 off of him. So I like that hand right there as well. Gets to Russell Wilson and absolutely, drives him into the ground. But that's obviously hell of a play right there. Initially trying to penetrate that A gap or whatever he's trying to do. Adjusting with the club. The hands right there are good. And then obviously again the secondary hands right there to the other offensive lineman who may have been able to assist better if he didn't use those hands as well as he did. Is all good jobs. So 24 effort. Okay. After this, we got 20 plays left. I feel like the sweet spot for these reviews for me is like 40 to 50 plays. Anything longer than that, I start to get a little bit tapped out. But with that being said, I think Whitehead's 58 plays or something like that. I think Martin's 52. I think Herbig is like 35, and Quan is probably going to be a decent amount because he's, I think it's maybe not. I don't know. Never mind. Let's see. Where is he? He is right here. I believe that is him. Nope. Completely wrong. He is. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. He's right here. He changed up his arm sleeves and stuff a couple times, or he'd go for the half under. He'd go double sleeves. He'd go one sleeve. So not ideal. He gets a negative grade on changing up his outfit or his accessories. So it's easier. It's harder to recognize at first. You get used to it pretty quickly though. It's hard for secondary guys if they're changing their stuff and they're looking similar to guys. Offensive line, trench play, linebackers are nice to watch because they're easy to identify. But here we're just seeing effort. We're not talking about anything about necessarily the scheme or anything like that, which here I'm assuming it's a run play. And just based again on the offensive lineman, it looks like he's loading up on that outside leg, which is conducive to him breaking inside. And just he's already like overlapping. So we're thinking that he's trying to protect that gap as he steps down to that gap. And here's Fant, by the way. So he's going to try to penetrate that gap quickly. Again, this just pre-snap is showing that it's probably going this way. Unless you're trying to fake him out, which would be a really vet move from that offensive lineman. But he, again, just pre-snap. I think he wants to work through that. Again, he's angling towards it. He's a little bit of a slant. He's like a slanted 6 right here, or like a slanted 6. They're running. They just had an extra tackle in. So penetrates that C gap, throws that rip. Again, the rip almost works like a chicken wing, just trying to protect that chest. Scrape down the line of scrimmage, find Marshall Lynch again, and we're seeing some good speed from him, good angle to try to get back in on Marshall Lynch again, as tight as you can to the line of scrimmage. Chase him down, explode for the tackle. So we like that secondary explosion right there to close that ground. It's a nice play. Just pause for a second here on my end. All right, we're back. The benefit of recording shows that aren't live is I could use the bathroom whenever I want. We're doing live streams, and I'm doing the piss dance over here where you guys can't really see. So let's see. Where are we at? Effort stuff. Did we watch stuff? Let's see. I don't think we watched stuff. Yeah, this one got a little bit laggy, obviously. He is right here again. 2I. Something else I got to do, which is not going to be great podcasting or film reviewing or whatever you want to call it, is plugging in my computer right now because I am at, let's see the percentage, 10%. All right. So we're obviously see the stuff. Did I even play it all the way through? I'm not even sure. Stuff. There we go. Let's watch why. again, powerful effort. We see the effort there. We see the excitement too. So offensive lineman steps inside, zone steps with him. Thomas notices, I'm gonna assume he notices the zone step, and just the offensive lineman in general working towards him. He steps inside with him, gets inside of at least the arms of the offensive lineman. We could tell that his hat is lower, so he's better leverage than the offensive lineman. So good. We have chest control. We have leverage. That's a positive. Now, again, noticing the zone stepping and the offense, the center working away from him, hand checking, where is the run most likely going. It's to Thomas's left, so he's going to work to his left. Again, gets inside, tries to free up his inside half. And we're seeing him doing that with his feet right here. We're going to see how this foot widens, drive off the instep, and and he crosses the face with his right foot. Right foot, cross the face, kind of turn those hips inside, clear that inside half on Marshall Lynch, wrap him up, and drive him backwards, obviously, and they're going to blow the whistle there. Again, the great podcasting. Give me a second. Could have very easily have paused it, but who really cares, right? Let's see. All right. Wrap that around that bad boy. Tuck that in there. And golden. How to plug my phone in behind the scenes. My wife absolutely loves Keith Urban. So we were actually in Aruba, and she was like, "Oh, I'm buying 2 VIP tickets to Keith Urban. Hopefully you'll go with me. If not, I'll get one of my friends, but I prefer if you go with me." I was like, okay, sweet. Don't love Keith Urban. I love VIP. I love VIP drinks. I love VIP entrances. I love VIP exits. So I'm going to go. But I need to charge my phone before I go there. So that's my story. That's why my computer was dying. But now it's computer charge time. Thomas run stuff. Okay, so we were 25 plays, but really that cut 4, so 21 plays to the review. So just about half the review was him in San Fran, which is how he's going to be used with the Jets, you'd assume. Now we're going to see him with the Raiders, which is his most recent year. But again, now we're seeing him as a 2, as a 3. Now we're, instead of 2I, we're seeing 3, which is fine, whatever. Again, run stuffing. I don't necessarily know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like more plays I watch. If he's a better pass rusher or run stuffer, it's kind of in the middle. I would say probably a pass rusher, but we're seeing decent amount of plays where, like, if you're telling me him inside over Nathan Shepard, Jonathan Marshall, Rankins, I'm taking him. So I think if you're trying to stuff the run, it's depending on the matchup, but it's JFM and JJ on the outside with Solomon Thomas and Q on the inside. I would assume, or I think that's the best off the top of my head run stuffing unit they have. So we're gonna see him stuff the run here. Comes off the ball. Again, what is his plan pre-snap? Not sure. Was it to penetrate that A-gap? I would say probably not. I think for Thomas, who's, again, a little bit late off the snap right here, notices, okay, 76 is stepping down to block me. Where is the run probably going? If he's going to vacate, he's stepping down towards me. Where is the run going to go? It's going to go to his outside. So he wants to win to the inside. Again, now he could win over the top and try to shut the run down, or he could penetrate quickly, flatten to again, try to cut the running back off. Obviously, if he gets vertical so quickly enough where he can cut the running back there, great. If not, he's going to have to, again, win and get underneath. So steps down. Again, a little bit of a rip / chicken wing right there to protect himself. Both the center and the guard pull here. He penetrates that vacated gap. The offensive lineman, we're not going to talk about him. He needs to play this better, just in terms of taking a more direct angle. But no, that's whatever. So throws a rip, works into the vacated gaps. Again, takes a good angle to cut Harris off. Now the only thing with that is, okay, and again, it happens so quickly. It's really, really hard. Initially, he's closing ground on him right here. He's taking more of a direct angle. Harris is going to widen, throw the stiff arm. It's a hard ask for him to say, okay, let's defeat that stiff arm, be prepared for that stiff arm, attack it at the elbow so you can bring him down. He gets stiff armed. Okay, that's fine. But then you have the rest of the defense who rallies and make the tackle. This is Thomas's play. If Thomas doesn't make this play, we're going to have Harris, who is most likely going to hit this gap, but he forced him to bubble out, which forces the stuff. So yeah, he doesn't technically get the stuff, but that's Thomas's play that he made. So it's a good play by Thomas. I think he's not wearing 92, right? Because isn't Zuniga 92? I think he's wearing 94 with the Jets. I'm not sure. He's right here, 4-eye, 4. Almost like a slanted 4-eye. Again, he didn't win as quickly. He didn't win really, really quickly here. You're not going to every rep. Steps aggressively up the field, tries to throw the double swipe, which it lands, but he's not able to pair that with penetrating through the B gap here. So yeah, he wins, but you're not, again, pairing that with actually moving up the field. You're going to have to almost reset after that. So lands a double swipe, is not able to work through that B gap. Just because it's tight, and I think that the inside hand right here from the offensive tackle contacts him, so he's not able to penetrate. Again, kind of reassess what's going on here. Now it's gonna be really hard for him to win to the inside, and now that this tackle was forced to get vertical because of Crosby. Now the B gap is a little bit more open, so he reassesses, see that the B gap is open. Again, inside is very hard to win. Playing with extension, good. Pulls himself through. Pulls through. Now we'd like to most likely see a rip here, pull himself through a rip, more direct angle. The offensive lineman is able to get his hand on the shoulder, on the bicep, so he's not able to throw that rip, obviously. So he can't do that. So now he's going to work the outside hand, throw a club, arm over. So again, you like to see him pull down, rip, but everything's not going to always be ideal. So instead, again, club, arm over. Works past. Now we have Big Ben, who steps up through the pocket. Thomas has to dive. He takes out the leg, and Big Ben, I think, gets like a yard gain, right? His knee goes down to 45. So where the ball get snapped at? Oh, okay, so maybe it was a sack. Yeah, it probably was a sack. So he not near sack. He does get a sack right here. I didn't realize it was he got him down right there 40, right? Unless he didn't. I think he does. I think he got a sack for this game. And I don't remember anything else past that, to the best of my knowledge. So just gets the sack, I should say. Thomas sack, okay. He's right here. They drop down late. They're trying to show like this like amoeba front, but he gets into a position where he is a, like a 3 tech. Nonetheless, let's watch the play. Again, this is more effort. It's not necessarily like it is what it is. He's a little bit late he's a little bit late to get a line right here, so he's not tight to the offensive lineman. He can't really propel himself forward, so it's going to be a little bit delayed. So just based on how we played that pre-snap, it's not necessarily conducive to winning fast. So offensive lineman, they shuffle to their left. He steps with the offensive lineman, tries to take on 2 guys at the same time. Right here again, just keeping himself clean, decides to rush against just purely the right guard. The right guard is looking opposite of him. His attention isn't fully committed to Thomas, which Thomas takes advantage of a little bit as he goes across the guard's face. Turner, right? That's Trey Turner. Goes across the guard's face, he works laterally. The guard tries to match him. Thomas does a good job working laterally, but knowing he's going to most likely try to penetrate that opposite gap, works off the instep, gets lower than the offensive guard, who is not necessarily completely committed to him, throws him by. Now 76 picks him up, works past 76. Again, just consistent hand fighting. We're seeing that late chop right there to clear himself, to clear that inside half, and then brings down Big Ben for the sack. So it's I say but it's good effort. It's good hand. It's good hand usage. Again, it's a good job just noticing or kind of just beating that guard who's not completely committed. It's overall a good job. The more part is that part of that is him not being ready pre-snap, but were they trying to do that on purpose, like run that amoeba front, that radar defense? You don't know. So Thomas hit Spike Reed right guard stance. Weird, but he's right here. One tech, the right guard in terms of the stance. Again, pass set, okay. Run set's going to be inside. Huh. A little bit interesting because he's almost like slanted to the A gap, and then he steps up the field towards the guard and just throws his shoulder into him, which it splashes the guard. It's just not ideal, because you don't have ideal hand placement, but he's still able to get better leverage, at least a little bit of better leverage. Pop up the pop up number 51, which is Turner. Pops him up initially, then works lateral, club, rip. Again, good job. One, club, rip, and pairing that club with the lateral movement, because again, if he's in a club, but he's not gonna clear his hips, then he's gonna get stuck. So you want to pair again those hands with his feet. He does that here. Widens again to clear that rush angle. Gets vertical. Gets big. Which by the way, watch this here. If this is if this was Big Ben. Well, maybe not Big Ben, because he was always a guy who took hits. If this is Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, those type of guys, this might be, they might call a flag right here or throw a flag, because you have half a step, one, hit him, extension. It's that watch the penalty right there. That could easily be a penalty. So, but again, we like the explosion, or the explosive power right there. We like the pairing of the hands and the feet to get lateral. Stepping up the field, like the hit, that's all pretty good. So Thomas occupy 3. So I think run play, you're just going to occupy 3 guys, which again, he's probably not going to make the play on the running back, but when you occupy 3 and you can go 3 for 1, it's obviously a good play. So again, the ball is out, but he takes the attention of 3 offensive linemen here. So steps up the field. Okay, fine. The Turner is obviously shuffling to block him. Thomas pairs the explosion off of the right foot right there with the club. Why? Because he's trying to win that B gap again. You got to be prepared to you can't just win with your hands and then decide where you're going. You have to almost decide where you're going before you really get there. So thinks he's going to win. Explodes off that instep. Double swipe. Rip, and now again they're running this TE stunt where he wants to drag him across his face, penetrate, hit the 76, and then he's going to loop. Obviously, with the set of the offensive line, it's not going to it seemed hard for Crosby to win, but nonetheless, for Thomas here as that picker, if he sees an angle where he could take it to the quarterback, he's going to be more direct to the quarterback than the looper is. So that's the benefit of this. If they don't pick it up clean, he's going to penetrate. He's going to hit the quarterback. So double swipe, rip. Now he's noticing, okay, I don't just have to eat this guy up. I have a lane to the quarterback here. He gets relatively skinny through that gap, but the tackle drops his or power steps right there, picks him up. But again, occupying 51 because of penetration, occupying the center because the center picks him up because it's the most near threat to the quarterback and the guard and the tackle. So he occupies 3 right there. Obviously the ball is out, etc. But still an impactful play there. It doesn't impact the quarterback, it impacts the offensive lineman. That's a play worth recording to me. So he's right here, 4-4-I. Let's watch. Again, rush win. So we're seeing him use a little bit more effective, or he was a little bit more effective in the run game versus with San Fran. Now he's a little bit more of a pass rusher with the 49ers. Now, again, comes up the field, one aggressive step up the field. I like that his second stride right there is shortened. He's just reading, one aggressive step to close that ground, see how the offensive lineman is going to react. Shortened stride right there at the second step, because if he steps too hard up the field, he might work right into the guard's hands. Now the guard is not the best right here, but that little hesitation, again, shortened strides with a little bit of the patter right there gets the offensive lineman to lock his feet. His feet get into that quicksand. Thomas pairs the lateral movement, double swipe, rip, gets to the quarterback for the pressure. Again, it's a good job. more of an aggressive step up the field, but not overly long. Short and stride, read him. You know, is he oversetting? Is it kind of take his chest for a bull rush? He sees, okay, he's setting hard inside. He's off balance. I'm going to went to the outside, double swipe again, rip and get there. So it's a good job. I think I'm a little bit higher on Thomas after doing this right now. A little bit higher than I was. It's going to be interesting. Is he in the top 25? Is he not? You know, we're talking about a relatively decent player here, and he might not even be in the top 25 in the Jets roster, which is exciting, you know. So 3 tech right here. Again, a little bit grainy here. We'll get over it. But we're talking about, again, another good run stuff here against a division opponent. So now we're talking about a situation where I'm going to assume just based on the aggressiveness that he plays with right here. Again, just might be a product of the 4-3, but I would assume it's a little bit of a it's going. You know, I think he's expecting run because it doesn't look like he's trying to necessarily win against the pass right here. I think he's expecting runs, so steps towards the guard. Again, better leverage, working his hands inside of the guard, splashes the guard, extension. So leverage, first step, hand placement, extension, clear that outside half. You know, continue to read the running back, to read the running back's track. He's reading that the running back's track is tight on this tight zone split. So once the running back commits to it, Thomas is going to try to win that gap. Instep, he's standing him up. So right now, again, him standing him up, if he were to cross the face and kind of drop the hands, his momentum's going flat. So he's going to try to cross his face, you know, flatten over the top, if you feel what I'm saying. So he pairs that with a pulls himself through, rip. This is good. You know, the stack, the leverage, just knowing angles and how he's going to play this, crossing the face to get to cut off the running back, pairing that with a rip. And then we're seeing the power through that contact, flattening, getting in on tackle of the running back. This is an impressive play. This is a pretty good run stuff from him right there. So I think he is one of the run stuffers of the team, which is, again, a lot of the players that they're bringing in are like, okay, pass rusher first. And even Thomas may be a pass rusher first, but I think he offers that upside in the run game where they're going to try to play him on some run downs and see how it works out. So Thomas spin sack. Okay. He's right here. 4-eye, loose 3. You know, maybe it's his film study, maybe. And this guard, I believe I noticed it a couple times this Miami game that he was oversetting a little bit. So if you have a guy who's going to overset, okay, have a plan to win to the inside. And it's nice to see a guy who's 270, who's a little bit more tighter, throw a pretty nice spin move here. So we're going to see him one step up the field, and then we're pairing that with what? The widening of the outside foot to cross the face. Again, you don't want that to be under your frame. It's not going to be conducive to really creating lateral movement. So he's going to widen that outside foot. Again, good time. It's a good spin move. Again, this is what we're talking about in terms of, okay, planting to the outside. Typically, guys are going to want to be like almost already planted on the inside foot and spinning by the time the hands shoot. But nonetheless, with the upper half, we're seeing him defeat the outside arm. And the spin is going to deflect that inside hand. So the inside hand is going to shoot, thinks it's going to land, and it's really going to roll off the outside shoulder. Again, maybe you want to see it a little bit earlier here, just in terms of the footwork, but chop that outside hand. Again, pretty tight in terms of the spin. Now this foot, we could see it be a little bit more tight, but if he has to get more lateral, it can't be as tight. It's just kind of mechanics. I don't really feel like even getting into that because that'll take me 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes. It's just, I can't do that. Don't want to do it right now. So defeat the outside arm, chop, pair that with the spin, ice pick. Again, this part is very important. It's really outside hand, defeat it with your hands. Inside hand is going to roll off the back, and then past that, you want to spin, throw that ice pick. Why? Because it's going to both push him away. It's going to allow him to stabilize himself and penetrate that gap as tightly as he possibly can. So good ice pick right there. And again, the offensive lineman is able to get that right hand on, and that ice pick now almost works like a chop. Like he's kind of working against that elbow. Work towards Brissett right there. Get in on the sack with I don't know who else that is. It's at 99. I think that's Cleveland Farrell, right? Thomas Spino, because we can't put spin. Let's see what he's doing, Spino. He's right here. 2, 3, sorry, 3, loose 3, 3. And another spin. So very similar situation. It's very similar. That one more aggressive step up the field, but not covering too much ground because he wants to allow himself to get vertical. So again, we have a guy who's more aggressive with his hands. And if this, like I said, if 77, if the guard right here in the past, we've explained to you, if he's going to shoot 2 hands, he better make sure those two hands are going to land, because if those hands deflected, now his hips are locked to the outside. It's going to be harder for him to adjust to any inside movement. So I think this comes from film study, or just him adjusting on the fly to this plan. Defensive line coach, offensive line, whatever, whoever's watching this, okay, he's setting either hard to the outside, oversetting, or he's shooting 2 hands, so let's win to the inside right there. So again, a little bit lighter in terms of his steps up the field. Defeat the outside arm, chop, that hand rolls off the back, ice pick again. And that ice pick not only is propelling himself, but with that, you know, if the guard is oversetting and now he wants to get that hand back to the inside, like that, like almost like that half moon punch, that clamp, with his arm now over the top, it keeps that arm really tight. So it's not powerful. He has to get his hand kind of in front of him here and then work that hand as that pivot point. But when it's tight, it's not going to be as powerful in this situation. Typically tight elbows are powerful, but he has to get under that hand first. So good job with that ice pick. Work towards him. Obviously, the ball is out very, very quickly. I think I'm going to adjust my top 25. I'm about to do another review of a guy who's right near that top 25 too. So maybe I got to do it again first. But he's right here. 3 tech. Yeah, 3 tech right here. Let's watch stuff. Again, pretty good play. And with these guys, with the lesser guys, I feel like I do tend to be more positive, but I don't know. Sometimes you just go through it so mindless. You're like, damn, I've recorded a lot of good plays, and these are a little bit better than I thought I did when I'm actually like breaking them down and really talking them out a little bit. So it's good. So again, a little bit late off the snap. I'm curious if I put that in his strengths and weaknesses, that there are times where he's one of the last ones off the snap, but steps up the field. Kind of spikes that B gap. And I think at this point you have to notice a combo is coming. He's ricocheting. So you want to, if you could turn your attention into the post, then the post, but just because he stepped into him, you're going to want to reduce to the post now at this point, get hands on, displace him, you know, don't allow him to pop up that near shoulder, you know, kind of push him into the backfield or just stand him up. So it works into the ricochet, into the high leg. Oh, actually, okay. They're running one of these, like the plays that the Chiefs made famous. But works into the initial offensive lineman, tight elbow, stands him up. But now he's getting driven, and he just based on feel or just the only way he can really win is to get over the top right here. And because his hips are here, for him to cross the offensive lineman's face, it's gonna be pretty much impossible. So because his hips are here and the momentum of the offensive lineman is kind of going down, he's almost pushing that shoulder into a spin move, pushing the outside shoulder into a spin move. So Thomas just feels it out, takes advantage of it, spins across his face. Again, cross his face because the offensive lineman is getting a little bit too flat right there, not necessarily covering it positionally like he should. Spin, find again, ice pick, find the ball carrier, make the tackle. It's an impressive play. It's good. 36 out of 44. He's right here, 3 tech. Need more direct angle. Let's just talk about some of the bull rushes we want. And he's powerful enough, like he's explosive enough where guys are going to open up and they're going to sit a little bit on him. Or, they might open up a little bit where they're going to open up their chest. This is not one of the cases, to be completely honest. The offensive lineman's hands are on guard. The only thing I could say with this is maybe he's trying to work the A gap, but because he kind of sat on that so well, he tries to adjust like mid trying to cross his face into a bull rush, which could be the case, and that kind of can excuse this a little bit. Nonetheless, if he is going to bull rush here, we want to see more direct angles. We don't necessarily on a bull rush want to see him get work lateral, but into him at the same time, because it's not overly, again, it's not conducive to just a strong bull rush. You want to work directly through him, just work directly through him. So we want to see him again, straight line instead of angle into him. So he angles then into him, which again, not conducive to power. Hand ends up high. Offensive lineman hands land inside. Now he only has one hand on the inside. It's not, again, conducive to winning with power. He tries to refit his hands and work into him, but he's never really able to recover there. So we want to see more direct angles if he is going to decide to bull rush again. You don't want to work laterally into a bull rush, typically. Thomas stuff. Okay. Right here, 3 tech. That's not Herbig. Herbig wasn't playing this game, right? Let's see. No, that's not Herbig. No. Okay, Herbig 67. So right here, 3 tech again. Comes off the ball. I'm assuming this is a short yardage situation just based on how everybody comes off the ball. Thomas, again, good job with leverage. You know, he's pretty linear right there. Again, you want like that straight angle through the heel up through the lower body. You want to be on a line with the thighs working kind of opposite to act as like that shock absorber, but you're leaning forward a little bit different than an offensive lineman. But nonetheless, good leverage into him. Looks like he rolls the hips up just a little bit. Working off the instep. Again, play your gap. But if the running back's gonna have a tight angle, try to cross his face. I'm not sure if that happens exactly right here. Yep. Okay. So, good job just holding his gap. Again, I'm assuming a short yard situation is throwing that pillar again. Outside foot here, working direct angle through the inside arm. Again, we're going to call that a pillar. Pillarism. Clearing that outside half in case the running back were to cut through that gap. Eventually, obviously, notices that the running back is not going his way. So the only way he's going to get it on the run is not to obviously work upfield and then bend around. He's going to have to cross the face, get back on the play, crosses the face of the offensive lineman. Again, powerful off of that instep, working towards again, just trying to hold his ground. He's not trying to get vertically displaced here so he can't get on the tackle. He's trying to flatten out. So he's working that instep as he flattens. Hand on the running back. Bring him down, part of that tackle. Thomas, read stance, pull. Again, he's right here. There are some times where like this stance is too wide. To me, again, it could be completely wrong. I'm not sure what exactly happened here. I recorded it however long ago. But nonetheless, just based on this stance, this is too wide to be one in general. It's a little bit too wide, but definitely for a pass, it's too wide. Nonetheless. Yeah, I'd assume he's moving to his left, that offensive lineman, just based on how he's set for sure. So that's the thing that people are going to read. You know, people are going to read if linemen's asses are high, low, it's going to tell them, you know, run versus pass. That, you know, they're what stance is loaded up, where the insteps are. It could, you know, just the feet could really tell you a lot about what's going on. Now, is he both reading this and this, where he's loaded up on that instep? You could see he's leaning towards that. He's leaning towards that. So is he going to drive towards me while he pulls? Like, just based on their stances, that's what you'd assume here. This one's a little bit, that one's a little bit more sketchy. He could be doing either. But you can definitely tell he's more loaded up. He's working off both the insteps, but if anything, this, you know, it's like a 65-35 type deal with him. So Thomas steps towards the offensive lineman who blocks, he just blocks towards him, which there's, okay, I was about to say there's definitely misdirection here. I didn't think he was going to pitch it to him. But they just run this quick jet sweep. 63 works back to Thomas. Thomas, again, leverage is good right here. Working directly through the offensive lineman. Again, pops him up a little bit. Reads the backfield. I think he sees a lot of this motion crossing his face with I don't know who that is. On the jet sweep. Notices it, or at least guesses that way. And again, because he initially created that displacement, and he stood him up a little bit. Now he's able to cross his face. Or if he didn't, he's not going to be able to cross his face because he's working past the hips. But if he stands him up, he's working more against the hands. If he pairs the feet well, cross the feet or cross the face of the offensive lineman. Square up the runner, get on tackle. Now, obviously, he's makes a tackle. Now, obviously, with this, because of this happening, he was able to clean or cross the face of the offensive lineman more clearly, but he was going to regardless. Now, maybe he would have drove him vertically and he would have undercut it, but shit happens. He squares him up, adjusts to him, makes the tackle. Thomas stack with leverage. Okay. Right here, 3 tech. Again, see, we have him wearing undershirt half sleeves. We have him wearing both sleeves. We have him wearing one sleeve. Pain in the ass, Soloman Thomas, if you're watching. But steps up the field. I don't think he is. Steps up the field. Good leverage. Again, direct angle through him. Face up. Back arched. Tight elbow. Hand placement inside. Extension. Stand him up. Now I would say, they're zone stepping. And he has a wide track, so he doesn't necessarily want to declare early. He's going to kind of string it out, because when you have plays, obviously it's depending. It really depends. I'm not even going to say that, but he strings out that block a little bit, works to the outside, but again with good leverage enough where he could play both the outside. But if this running back were to work to the inside, again, he has enough vertical separation right here and extension where he can cross the face. So again, running back commits to the inside, and he's not fully committed to the inside, but for him to get to the outside here would be really hard. So he's going to assume the running back is going to work to the inside, work off that instep. Again, keep that extension, cross the face. Gets into that contact window, explodes towards him, wraps him up, makes the tackle. It's a good job. 5 plays left. Thomas tackle for loss. Right here, 3 tech. Pretty simple here. The plan for the Cowboys here to allow B gap penetration on a run that you have these counter steps, which it's not necessarily counter, but you have or we can call them like punch steps too. Punch steps, not the best game plan. You think you'd step down and try to block him just a little bit, to delay him, but whatever. I don't like the scheme right here. So Thomas takes advantage of it, fills the vacated gap. Obviously notices some of those punch steps, widens, dives, makes the tackle. Easy, Thomas power potential. He's right here, 4-eye. And here, when now he's going against Martin, who's one of the better offensive linemen in the league, or one of the better guards in the league, if not the best guard in the league, and takes a step upfield. Again, a little bit of hesitation, just trying to read what's going, read what gaps are open, read how the offensive lineman is going to play it. Now, with that hesitation, I want him, and this is something that's which I think a lot of guys on the roster necessarily, like we have like, okay, mid-level exception, high level if they're playing at a high level, above expectations and below expectations. A lot of guys on the Jets this year played below expectations. Can they bounce back? Rankins is a player who, again, is flashy. One play good, one play bad. He didn't do much of anything last year, but the one thing he was really good with the Saints was taking advantage of an open chest. And we want to see Thomas do that here. We're going to hesitate like this. If they're going to drop their hands, take this, drive them. So he does, but he goes in high. Again, he's not the highest in terms of his helmet level, but we want him with better leverage into that to roll off. He's kind of low, but he's still high. Like he's lower because of his hips than more of his upper body. Kind of weird, but works into it a little bit high. Again, the hands kind of come out like this instead of really being more direct. And don't have to be like tight, but more direct angle. So we're seeing him play a little bit high, hands high, and he's still with high hands, with a high center of gravity here. He's still able to bull Martin back a good chunk right here and kind of push the pocket. But with that being said, when you're rushing high, you're never going to really be – your bull rush is going to stall. You have to be lower than him. Your hips and your leverage has to be lower than him to continue to drive. So you might have that initial shock because of that power, but because you're high, you're not going to be able to kind of to drive that out. So he gets stood up at the end, but you see some of the potential of power that he has right there. So Thomas stuff. Okay. 4-eye right here. Again, just power. For a guy who is 270, we're seeing some very real power for his size. So steps up the field, takes on half a man, steps up the field. Okay, 66 is zone stepping. You want to spike it, take on half a man, and again, if that combo is coming for Soloman Thomas right here, he doesn't want to open the chest and allow 63 to get a good spot on that combo. He wants to reduce himself, and at the very last second, if he can, just turn away from it again, so the hand doesn't land to the shoulder, chest lands onto the back, which isn't as effective. So looks like he just turns away from it a little bit. Again, gets low, kind of anchors down against that combo. Now he's in a situation where because the offensive lineman is trying to climb here, and he stood up to the 66 a little bit, he has an inside track to the running back if the running back is to cut up the field. So again, just imagine he's not here because he's going to climb. This is a good angle to work towards the running back if he cuts up the field. He does. Martin again just holds his ground, clears his inside half, steps inside, makes a tackle. Again, this is power. Here, it's a good job using the hands, getting inside, good leverage. Again, just reducing himself a little bit, turning into that block a little bit to avoid the combo as best he can. Power off the insteps, low, make the tackle. Thomas aware, question mark, 2 more plays left. He's right here, 4-tech. See, now he's going with a single sleeve. And this is awareness, and it's more of I can't guarantee this is what he's thinking. That's probably why I say that. But the offensive lineman, again, he vacates, he blocks back to Thomas, I believe, and he just tries to step. This offensive lineman typically is going to step down, cover him a little bit, allowing the center to get to him, and then he's going to block back to the offensive line. Something happened, right? It's exactly what happens. So Thomas, and may or may not notice that. Him stepping down, works into him, notices the center blocking back to him. Now the center, I'm going to say it works at a way too flat of an angle. He needs to traditionally cover the gaps and get higher, and then work towards him instead of staying again low, because the only thing that's going to disrupt this run is him getting high over this. But bad job by the center there. But Thomas, again, eyes inside. I think he notices the flat angle. Notices the run is probably going opposite. So what is the way he's going to win? Just like I said, over the top and flat. So he anticipates the contact, throws the spin to get over the top. Again, at this point, for him to disengage, take this on, get over the top, it's going to be really, really hard. There's just a lot of, he's going to have to get his hands, clear them, stack him, get extension, cross the face. It's just going to be a lot. But or instead, he can just get really, really flat and high right here by spinning. And again, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that all processes really quickly. And that's just like a football, like a baller type of thing. If you're gonna be able to feel that out, and certain guys can. And you're gonna see him prepare for that spin, double hop off that right foot. Again, he doesn't want to go right, left, right. It's gonna be too slow. So right, instep, spin. Again, you're hoping that now you're engaged. You can't necessarily chop that inside arm, but you're hoping the rolling of the shoulders and you spinning is going to deflect the hands, which it does. Ice pick propels himself forward. Again, allows himself to clear that block, chase down 38 to get in on tackle. Again, effort there too. So that's a really good play. I'm going to say that's what happened, and he didn't just guess. Thomas stuff right here, 3-tech. Again, one power. Like, we're seeing the power on the inside of his guards. Like, he's playing against guards who are 300 plus pounds, all this stuff, and he's 270. Again, I'm assuming this play is another short yardage situation. They're trying to get the linebackers to hesitate with that fake end around. And again, everybody's really aggressive in terms of their step, in terms of the footwork. So I'm assuming it's short yardage. Steps up the field. Okay, offensive lineman is, and just in general, like, with this alignment, you're assuming either tight run or run to the left side. And Thomas takes us up the field, works into that A gap, club, arm over. Now, unfortunately for him, this club arm over movement, it defeats the initial guard. The guard is trying to step with the zone, climb up to Perryman. He's going to overtake the block. More than likely, that's what they're planning for. Thomas again steps up the field, club arm over, but the problem with the club arm over is, one, if you get caught in that armpit, you're kind of screwed. But that club arm over, with that arm over, you're getting vertical. And we're getting vertical, and now another guy contacts you and he's lower and he's attacking the hip. You're caught a little bit right there. This is not ideal position to be in for him. But his natural ability takes over, his power. He's still able to work off of his instep right there. Again, we're going to see like a double hop. 1, 2, instep's powerful, because right now he's trying to get vertical to cut off that running back. Again, that instep is going to propel him forward. Work up the field. He throws like that rip. Now he gets flat, cuts off the running back, makes a tackle. Again, hell of a play on Gibson. It's a good play on what I assume is a short yardage situation. Now let's get into the strengths and weaknesses of Mr. Soloman Thomas. Let me just pull them up. They're in my notes section somewhere. Which, by the way, if you guys aren't watching, I was watching, and I got like 3 hours of sleep. I was supposed to get like a couple more, but I was watching the Bussin' with the Boys or whatever, the CJ Uzama interview, which is pretty good. I don't necessarily, I don't know. I think that's Will Compton, like the special teamer / like starter for a year or two from the Redskins a while ago. But I don't really watch a lot of Barstool stuff, but the interview seemed pretty cool. Like I watched like the first like 30 minutes. I'm like, shit, I gotta go to sleep. I realized it's another hour. So watch that. That was in my notes, but nonetheless, for Soloman Thomas, you didn't hear about that at all, but 6'3", 273, like I kind of said. I said 6'2", I think 270, but nonetheless, 26 years old, 33-inch arms. Again, I watched 2019 weeks 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 16, 17, and 2021 weeks 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. Strengths, effort, plays inside out, power for size, flashes linking hands and feet, acceleration, burst. Pass rush includes rips, strength in rip, I put in parentheses, is ++. He's very strong with his rip. Swipes, club arm overs, and spin move. Block shedding as a D-end. Speed. Burst off the snap at times. Physicality, powerful hands on edge. Can contort body to get skinny in gaps. Lateral movement. Brings thump in tackles. I put tacklers. In tackles. Quick to penetrate vacated gap. Core strength. Flashes redirective power with good leverage. Which just, okay, you're rushing up the arc, your hips are kind of flat or not, are kind of straightforward in trying to rush up the arc, and then you realize you can't win to the outside, so then you're going to redirect your power to the inside. So I talk about like redirective power with good leverage. Certain guys don't have that. He's 30 in 1-on-1 matchups. He's a natural anchor even while high. Obviously, you hope he'd get lower. Showed better spin move with the Raiders. We started to see that much more. So something he added to his toolkit, in my opinion. Weaknesses of Thomas: plays high, needs tighter elbows on bull rush. Want to see him roll hips under pads more consistently. Can get knocked off path due to size inside, which is going to naturally happen. Tackle radius, again, he's a little bit tight at times, so it could be a little bit hard. Want to see him redirect to bull rush quicker when shut down early in rep instead of kind of hand fighting. Inconsistent technically, or technically inconsistent. Can see him get blown off ball versus, again, due to size. Effectiveness lessens with more snaps. Which I guess I noticed. It was more of a question than anything. I would like to see the numbers on that, but I noticed, not necessarily charting, that when he got more snaps, he was less effective, which you'd assume, right? But nonetheless, he gets caught in the chest due to arm length and leverage. Again, his arm length isn't that short though, but it's more leverage. When you're standing up high, you're not really leaning into a guy. If you're to be up high, you're going to get caught in the chest more. Takes on blockers with wide hands. Plays out of control at times. Could work to condense moves. Stacking moves could be an issue for him. Inconsistent hand usage. Would like to see him adjust on fly better. Rushes with open chest, even though that one spin move over the top is really nice. Rushes with an open chest. Change of direction, stiffness. Either he's able to get skinny through gas, which is kind of weird. Gets into bull rushes high. Anchor inside versus double teams, which again, you assume due to size, and can get lost in traffic. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. You guys will be seeing the Whitehead and Martin reviews before this, but nonetheless, I appreciate you guys. The next time you see me, you'll be watching a Nate Herbig review or Quan Alexander. Nonetheless, appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.